Hey guys, this is MattiAce, and this is going to be my 7th aim and skill tutorial. Yeah, this is turning into quite a series actually. Now the main focus of this video is going to be about twitch aim or a reactionary aim, which is what you saw here in the first example where I was shooting at one guy and then I had to quickly readjust and move my aim to another target, finish that one off, and then as quickly move my aim to yet even another target and finish that one off as well. And that kind of twitch aim is quite different from what you see here, where this is more of my natural playstyle where I focus on longer mid-range. And in this case, the enemies have access to cover and are in some situations also partly behind cover, which obviously means that your aim and control has to be a little bit more on point. Now this longer mid-range or long-range shooting is something that you actually can be without. You don't really need to know this because you can just avoid these kinds of situations. But close-range engagements, that is something that you are always going to come across, because no matter how you play or where you are, eventually some enemies are going to come close to you, and you just have to be able to handle that situation. And this is the main reason why I never move away from the one-time magnification. It's also important to pay attention to how your allies behave in certain situations. In this case, this infiltrator spots the enemy infiltrator here, and I would probably not have seen him or known about him had it not been for that ally. Now there are many things about your aim that you can improve by just practicing in VR or on an empty server or some such, and I will show you a couple of more examples even in this video. And the fact is that you can actually practice basically every playstyle all by yourself, except for when it comes to shooting at moving targets. At least when it comes to the aim, control and muscle memory parts of your improvement. However, things like this, where your targets are moving in order to avoid being shot, this is something that we would need some significant upgrades in VR in order to be able to practice on our own.
Enemy light assault in the
Is there radius under anything?
Yeah, there's moved or something to the, I don't know, northeast. I can't move the waypoint right now.
Oh no! Saved by MattiAce.
Yeah.
Damn son.
Yeah, mistakes will happen. Like in this case, I was trying to communicate with Beku, looking at the minimap, trying to explain where an enemy Sunday was located, and then I was surprised by an experienced player who had a weapon that I believe is very good at close range, while I'm trying to focus at this. Now, many times you want to choose a weapon for a certain playstyle and you want to play that playstyle, but even if that's something you want to do, then you can't always guarantee that that will happen. So it's always good to be able to adapt. So now, if you feel like your aim isn't as good as you would want it to be, or you feel like you're not improving as much as you would like, then it might be worth it to actually spend some time here in VR, come up with a couple of practice exercises, and just try to make sure that you have the right settings, that your recoil control and burst fire is as good as it needs to be, and just generally try to improve your aim in a less stressful environment than on the live servers. And once you're here in VR, you can just come up with all these exercises on your own. You don't necessarily have to duplicate what I do, even though I have plenty of suggestions on this video as well as the former aim and skill tutorials that I've made in the past. But when it comes to improving your twitch aim or your reactionary aim, it's important that you switch target and that you switch target relatively fast and maybe increase the speed of how fast you switch from one target to another as you go along. Now the point with these exercises is that they add to your experience, so that if you get surprised and you need to react fast, you can do that on instinct. Now, since all the videos in this series focus on different things, then different videos are going to be more or less important than others, depending on your playstyle, of course. Now, for players that focus on close quarter combat and normally have a different point of view of twitch aim compared to players such as myself, I have to react in situations where I get surprise attacked mostly, while players that focus on close quarter combat, they put themselves into these situations where it is expected that you have to make these quick turns and put your aim quickly on target, even though normally the target is going to be rather close to you. Also keep in mind that the more you improve this, the more important it is that you adapt to whatever weapon you're using, because eventually it will start making a difference as well. Yeah, one of the weapons I've been using lately is the flare, and I'm sure it's a bit of an all-round weapon, but I think it's mainly meant for longer mid-range engagements, and that's why I picked it. I find myself quite often in situations like you see here. I have a basic idea of where I can expect my opponents to show up, but then ever so often something happens and I have to just quickly react to that situation. Preferably also without team killing. You normally don't have to be all that precise with your twitch aim, because normally when you're using it, your opponents are very close to you. However, this is very different from situation to situation. For me, the playstyle is normally what you see here. I shoot at longer mid-range, and I'm using a weapon and weapon attachments that are meant for that. Therefore, normally when I need my twitch aim, it's in situations where I get surprised, and therefore I need to be able to rely on reflexes more than if I was in a close quarter combat situation to begin with, but also because of the weapon choice and because it's not something that I do every 20 seconds or so.
But if you grind for it, then it's annoying.
Huh?
If you're grinding it, then it's quite annoying.
Did any of the Sky Guards die?
Yeah, one died.
So do you feel like you get enough experience with your twitch aim in your general gameplay? Well, if so, then maybe it is in other areas like in longer mid-range and control and burst fire where you need to practice. However, the only one who can determine this is you. And whatever you consider being good or good enough, or whatever skill level you're satisfied with, again, this is your decision. However, normally when we play games like Planetside 2, it's just more enjoyable if we feel that we are improving. Even if just a little bit, or even if just from a very low level, improving and getting better normally just makes things we do a lot more fun. Of course, the same goes about gaining knowledge about weapons that will increase your success. Like for example with the NS11M, this light machine gun, I prefer to aim down sight even at very close range, because I choose this weapon for stuff like you see here. However, there are plenty of weapons and weapon setups where you could hipfire in a situation like this, for example. Now, how much time and effort you're willing to put in order to learn all this is of course entirely up to you again, but hopefully this video will help you along the way.
Bug abuser Linda. Either.
Rock?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not bugging, I mean just fucking cheating. Always.
Who's cheating? Agile?
Yeah, that also.
I knew.
Render business? 100? 1000?
When I'm PPA it's lower, other than that I put it at 500, yeah.
So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Also keep in mind, if you have missed the former videos in this tutorial series, then you will find them in the description, as well as a few other links to some other relevant videos. So I'm gonna leave in about another minute of a mixed infantry gameplay. I will say thank you all for watching, and bye for now.
Just a bit of
can't play like an Orion, whereas
No,
you
no,
can
no.
when you're using the
There's Madison,
You have to
there's
actually aim
Wire
with
Way Station. I don't know why I'm in playing yes, I think that's why I'm gonna put PPA all of them.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
You still have the same combo then.
Yeah, but I can't go there now because the monsters are...
Yeah, but like 3 or 4. I don't know what they're for.
I can heal you.
Yeah, I remember the match and I can't remember the actually also. The match was cancelled right after. Like 10 minutes after. A Polish player got an error saying he got backed, but
fucking NG turrets. There's GG7F here somewhere.